Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Tales of Herding God Part 94 based on novel. So let's start. After a moment, the great shaman that went to warm the wine came back. The other great shaman swirled the wine, and when it was clear, he poured a bowl and placed it respectfully in front of Qin Mu. Is it poisoned? Qin Mu asked with a pleasant expression. The two great shamans from Roland's Golden Palace immediately said, "We don't dare." Qin Mu laughed out loud. "I'm a divine physician, who has learned from Jade Face Poison King. If you guys try to play poison in front of me, that would be quite a joke." The two great shamans laughed with him. Qin Mu's expression sunk and pointed at the great shaman, who had warmed the wine. "Drink it." The expression of that great shaman changed drastically, and he started trembling. Qin Mu's face turned even darker, and he repeated coldly, "Drink it." The corners of the great shaman's eyes twitched as he picked up the wine bowl with trembling hands to drink 2 mouthfuls. He smiled. "No poison." As he said this, his body trembled and shriveled up like a deflated balloon. He became thinner and thinner until only his skin was left. Covering the skin was his clothes, and there seemed to be things wiggling in them. A bunch of insects chewed through his skin and flooded out, crawling in all directions. They then incinerated and turned into ashes. The face of the other great shaman turned ashen. Without a change in expression, Qin Mu rapped the table. "Serve me another bowl." The great shaman serving the wine had a tearful expression as he said, "There's poison in the wine." "Can't poison me," Qin Mu said indifferently. "Continue serving the wine." "Where are the dancers?" "Call them, songs and dances liven up the mood." The great shaman immediately poured a bowl of wine and summoned the dancers, continuing with the dance and music. Qin Mu ate the dishes and drank the wine as he enjoyed the songs and dances, clapping when he was entertained. This banquet lasted for quite a long time, and the sun was hanging late in the west when he waved his hand and made the singers and dancers fall back. The wine was highly toxic and contained a kind of shamanic poison. It had venomous insects that specialized in eating souls and corporeal bodies. However, Qin Mu was still fine after drinking nearly the entire jar of wine. Such a disappointment. Qin Mu rose, leaving the table in a mess. All the food and wine had been eaten and drunk by him, and it was more than even a dozen lords would have been able to eat. However, he didn't seem full as all the wine and food had been dissolved by spirit-returning pill great supplement technique. "You've lived through so many lifetimes, 11,000 years. What a pity that you never took your own path, always liking the path of others, jumping from one to another. After jumping here and there, you obliterated your own acute spirit." Qin Mu shook his head. "I waited so long for you, yet you still don't dare to show up. What a joke. I thought you would be my opponent, but I didn't count that the older you get, the more cowardly you get. After I took the upper hand, you didn't dare to pick another fight with me again." The great shaman from Roland's Golden Palace was unable to make heads or tails of what he was saying, not knowing who he was talking to. What's the need for dreams when one doesn't dare to struggle? Qin Mu walked outside and chuckled. "It's better for you to just go home." "That's right, since it's your treat, foot the bill before leaving." He walked out of jade fragrance floor and left. In green bamboo garden, the great shaman was befuddled and waved his hand to dismiss the singers and dancers. After a moment, Pangong So walked out from the shadows with a gloomy face while stained in blood. "The sword skills of human emperor," he said in a low voice. Those were actually the sword skills of human emperor. Even though it could have been a deception, I don't think I saw it wrong. What that junior used were the sword skills of that human emperor, which were fused with Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor's sword skills, as well as Rulai's Mahayana Sutra combined with 9 dragons monarch technique of Ling family. He had combined all these techniques. Qin Mu had fused so many techniques and divine arts together, and they were all top-notch techniques and divine arts. So Pangong So's Dao sword had been countered when they exchanged moves, messing up his mind and plans. Therefore, he no longer dared to fight head-on with Qin Mu. He didn't know how many moves of the human emperor's sword skills he had learned. The human emperor of the previous generation was an extremely strong practitioner, so he didn't dare to take the risk. In the previous generation, many incidents happened and there were many figures that were close to gods walking around in the world. He was one of them. Heaven Knife was also one of them. Other than them, there were numerous other glorious figures, but none of them were as dazzling. Human Emperor was the most dazzling star in the previous generation. Other than him, Pangong So had seen another human emperor, one of the generation prior to that man's. It was some 800 years back. The human emperors had appeared in his long life again, and every one of them was abnormally dazzling, overshadowing his radiance. Various human emperors could be traced even all the way back to his first lifetime, and even before that. There were human emperors walking in the world since a very long time ago. He was once curious about this incomparably ancient inheritance. The techniques and divine arts of every human emperor were different, and every one of them was absolutely astonishing. There were even quite a number of saints that appeared once every 500 years that ended up as human emperors. He had wanted to get in touch with this inheritance, but since he died a few times under the hands of human emperors, he vanquished this thought. And right then, he saw the inheritance of the previous generation's human emperor in Qin Mu's skills. The previous generation's human emperor had vanished for a long time, and rumors said that he's been dead for 300 to 400 years. Pangong So had seen the sword of this human emperor before and knew that he was one of the strongest people in the previous generation. He was the strongest sword. After seeing it once, the sword light would be forever imprinted in one's heart, making them unable to forget it. If not for that, Pangong So would have never panicked and messed up, getting heavily injured by Qin Mu and losing the upper hands and escaping into the river. He had then went into the ground, but the youth's green heaven's eyes discovered him, and he used his bamboo cane, iron hammer, and pig-slaughtering knives to land fatal blows on him, adding injuries on top of injuries. Because of that, there was no way for him to turn back. His attainments in escaping arts had been cultivated to their extreme. The escaping skills of Little Jade Capital were definitely the first-rate escaping arts in this world. His soul was extremely strong and close to the level of God, so Qin Mu wouldn't be able to kill him. In addition, the cultivation of his previous lifetime was still in his body. Even though this body was very weak, and couldn't withstand such terrifying strength, it wasn't everything. If Qin Mu forced him to his limits, the explosion of his power would be enough to kill the youth. After he escaped, Qin Mu knew he couldn't make him stay, and so didn't chase after him. Instead, he went back to Jade Fragrance Floor and forced him to not dare to reveal himself, delaying him curing his injuries. If that ancient organization learned that the human emperor is not yet dead and still has a successor, things will definitely get bustling, Pangong So muttered in a low voice. The great shaman that had served Qin Mu wine immediately went forward and smiled. "Prince, how are your injuries?" Cult Master Qin had not paid just now. "I don't need anyone to know I lost, even though I've lost many times." The great shaman was slightly stunned and suddenly felt his soul becoming stiff, as if something had chained it up. He couldn't help revealing fear. The next moment, his flesh and bones melted and his soul disintegrated, leaving a pile of clothes on the ground. Pangong So walked out and footed the bill while thinking to himself, "Luckily I met that organization quite a few times and know how to contact them. I'm afraid that I won't be able to stay in the capital city anymore. This cult master Qin will definitely inform Chancellor Ba Shan, when he goes back, and not let me have a place to fit in. However, if I want to hide, Chancellor Ba Shan won't be able to find me. He walked out of Jade Fragrance floor, and into the shadows, never appearing again. Qin Mu returned to Imperial College, and found Chancellor Ba Shan. Pangong So is indeed the old monster of Roland's Golden Palace. I injured him, so I'm afraid he won't appear again. Chancellor Ba Shan was startled and cried out, he left. If he cast a spell on you in secret, how bad would that be? Teacher Heaven Knife didn't manage to kill him, and had no choice but to hide his name. What about you then? The brat's cultivation is still in 6 Directions realm, but soon enough, he will break through into 7 Stars realm, then Life and Death realm. With only 10 or so years, I'm afraid he'll return back to Divine Bridge realm. At that time, you'll be dead meat. Qin Mu smiled. Why doesn't senior brother stay by my side? That way, he won't dare to make a move. Chancellor Ba Shan frowned and said, he knows my name and will be able to kill me 10 years later as well. It won't do. I can only solve the problem temporarily by staying at your side. I need to find and kill him to prevent further troubles. When he was done, he summoned the green bull to leave in a hurry. Qin Mu returned to Scholar's residence. While looking at his room, a sense of dread washed over him. If Chancellor Ba Shan doesn't find Pangong So, won't that brat stare at me every night? How will I be able to sleep like that? It simply won't do. I have to find that guy. This matter should be better if it was handled by the disciples of Heavenly Saint cult. Unless he went back to Roland's Golden Palace to hide, he won't be able to escape my eyes and ears. Just as he thought this, a steward from Scholar's residence walked over and said, Academician Qin is already a divine arts practitioner. You should be moving to divine arts residence. There were other stewards helping Chen Wanyan and Sai Yinxiang to move as well while saying, you have also succeeded in breaking the wall, so must also leave Scholar's residence to move to divine arts residence. Chen Wanyan and Sai Yinxiang saw Qin Mu and came over in a hurry to thank him. They said, if not for Cult Master's 6 Directions computational canon, we wouldn't have been able to enter 6 Directions realm so fast. It was just a little thing, Qin Mu said humbly. Chen Wanyan had a weird expression, and Sai Yinxiang suffered a setback. To Qin Mu, it was a little thing, but to them, it was a huge help. Like this, did she still have hope to get rid of this cult master to become the female cult master of Heavenly Saint cult? Scholars' residence, I'm leaving. Chen Wanyan waved to the scholars that had come to send him off and smiled. Whoever is willing to be the big brother can go fight for the role themselves. Yu Qinghong and Monk Yun Qiu had no interest in that as they looked at each other before smiling. You guys can go to Divine Arts residence first, we'll be there in 2 days. This position of the big brother should be handed to the other junior brothers and sisters. Qin Mu and the rest walked towards Divine Arts residence, while the dragon Qilin followed behind them. This lazy dragon was determined to follow Qin Mu everywhere he went, never letting go of this meal master. That's right. Qin Mu recalled something and smiled. The Crown Prince will be leaving the capital city in a few days' time, and he wants me to follow him to send disaster relief. If you guys are free, you can follow me to gain some experience. Wanyan, you have already become a divine arts practitioner and your abilities aren't weak anymore. So you'll be able to become the incense master of our sacred cult with another few more years of experience. Chen Wanyan felt his scalp crawling and became unwilling to follow him out. He said, every time we go out with Cult Master, danger always springs up all around and we are always escaping for our lives. I think I'd rather not go. I just cultivated to 6 Directions realm, so I still have to strengthen this realm. Sai Yinxiang's eyes glowed brightly. I'll go. Just as Qin Mu wanted to say something, another steward from Divine Arts residence came over and said, "Scholar Chen Wanyan, the Crown Prince, has appointed you to follow him out of the capital city. Other than you, there are a dozen more scholars from Divine Arts residence that will be coming as well." Chen Wanyan's face immediately turned bitter. Going out with Qin Mu to gain experience was definitely a chore. The last time they had gone to the southern borders for experience with Qin Mu, they had encountered 9 Spectres sect, Corpse Immortal cult, and Great Mountain sect summoning the dead to massacre a city. Then they encountered Jutian, Devil King wrecking everything in Heaven Wave City, before going to Daxiang City to join the battle to quell the rebellion. Chen Weiyang had never been through so many near-death encounters in his entire life. After returning to the capital city, he had spent quite a long time to recover from the ordeals. When he went to Qingmen Pass for experience, he fought fiercely with soldiers from barbarian Di Empire, but that was still soldiers fighting soldiers, and general fighting generals. In no way was it similar to gaining experience with Qin Mu. When out with him, sects would wage wars against each other, and even summon devil gods. Upon reaching Daxiang City, there were even strong practitioners of cult master level everywhere, with hundreds of strong practitioners of celestial being realm and life and death realm as well. When Chen Wanyan recalled the incidents he experienced with Qin Mu, he couldn't help shivering. He had also heard about the encounters Qin Mu had faced after that, how he was chased by countless experts when he went home to Great Ruins for New Year. He then stirred trouble in Great Thunderclap Monastery, and even got involved with Dao sect and Great Thunderclap Monastery trying to murder the Emperor, saving both the Emperor and Imperial Preceptor, before coming back to the capital to kill Crown Prince Ling Yuxia. If it was Chen Wanyan who was forced to experience all these incidents, he would have most likely already died 100 times. He was determined to never go out with Qin Mu again, but the Crown Prince actually ordered him to come. It was the same as receiving a death penalty and waiting to be executed. He didn't know if this sacred cult master was a jinx, causing disasters everywhere he went. Qin Mu saw that his expression wasn't too good and consoled him, "This journey won't be dangerous. Crown Prince Ling Yuxiu is from our Imperial College, so we're old friends, and we have a good relationship as well. He is leaving the capital city to bring disaster relief, and is bringing many experts from the Ministry of Works. This journey isn't to quell any rebellion, but to check on all the factories and clear the snow mountains from the snow disaster. Or maybe it's to build bridges and dams. It's something along those lines, so there won't be any danger." Chen Wanyan had a bitter face as he said, "I sure hope so." Cai Yunxiang was slightly disappointed on the other hand. No danger. The 3 people followed the stewards to their respective rooms in Divine Arts residence. The stewards had arranged for them to live close to one another, as their 3 houses were all lined up. Qin Mu said to Chen Wanyan and Cai Yunxiang, "I won't know for how long we will be away, so you guys should find some divine arts to cultivate." Chen Wanyan's gaze flickered, and he suggested, "Yu Qinghong and Yun Qiu will be breaking their walls in the 2 days, and will become divine arts practitioners. Cult master, we should enjoy blessings and endure misfortune together, so we should bring them along to enjoy the blessings together." Qin Mu smiled and said, "You're right. Before the Crown Prince leaves, we'll bring everyone who manages to cultivate divine arts." Chen Wanyan's spirit was roused, and he left with excitement as he thought to himself, "If we're going to die, it's only natural that everyone should join in on the fun." Cai Yunxiang blinked innocently and stretched a fair white palm in front of Qin Mu. He took out his book tablet and placed it in her hand. Cai Yunxiang gave an elated cheer and immediately left. The book tablet of Divine Arts residence could only allow one to go to the 2nd level of floor of heavenly records, while Qin Mu's book tablet could access the 3rd level. So she borrowed his book tablet every time she wanted to go to floor of heavenly records. There was also Hall of Heavenly Works, which was similar to Heavenly Devil Cult's Craftsman Hall and Heavenly Works Hall. The latter one mostly researched how to manufacture mechanisms, refine spirit weapons, construct ships and bridges, pave roads, and manufacture vehicles. All of these were the works of the scholars from Hall of Heavenly Works. Imperial College was founded by Imperial Preceptor and Heavenly Devil Patriarch together. So many halls and teachings were copied from the halls of Heavenly Devil cult. This was one of the reasons why Great Thunderclap Monastery, Tao sect, and the rest of the righteous sects didn't really like Eternal Peace Empire. When the scholars of Hall of Heavenly Works graduated, they usually went to Ministry of Works to assume a position. This time, Crown Prince Ling Yushu brought mostly scholars from Heavenly Palace Courtyard, while the others were all officials from the Ministry of Works. Most of the officials from there came from Hall of Heavenly Works, so were considered classmates of Qin Mu and the rest. The government minister of the Ministry of Works had the greatest authority, while the next in line was the assistant minister. This position was assumed by Heavenly Devil Cult's Heavenly Works Hall Master. The Ministry of Works was then split into 4 departments. Department of Works managed the city and civil engineering, Department of Land managed the distribution and measurement of land, Department of Harvest managed the vegetables, fruits, and grains, while Department of Water managed the hydraulic engineering. Most of the ministers in these 4 departments were the Hall Masters and Incense Masters of Heavenly Devil Cult. Many of the officials were their disciples, while the other half were scholars that had graduated from Imperial College. Heavenly Devil Cult and Imperial College occupied nearly all of the official positions in the Ministry of Works. One needs to put what one studies into practice. So the people from Heavenly Works, craftsmen, vegetable, rain, farmer halls were all talents that the Ministry of Works needed. Because of that, they were all able to enter the imperial court. When Qin Mu saw the officials which Ling Yushu had brought, he couldn't help revealing a weird expression. Most of them were from his Heavenly Devil cult. Chen Wanyun, Yu Qinghong, Yun Qiu, Wei Yong, and Sai Yunxiang hurried over. Chen Wanyun's face was badly bruised by them, but he had a very pleased expression. When Sai Yunxiang saw the officials Ling Yushu had brought over, she also couldn't help revealing an astonished expression. She secretly asked Qin Mu, cult master, is the crown prince part of us as well? Qin Mu's heart was slightly moved, and he asked Ling Yushu, Your Highness, have you heard about Heavenly Saint cult? Ling Yushu didn't reply to him and instead said, Everyone's here, so let us be on our way. The order Father has given me this time is to inspect the geography of all the prefectures in our empire, check the irrigation works, city defense, measure the soil, and check on the vegetables and fruits after the natural disaster. Once we reach a place, I'll be asking the officials questions while the rest of you will check on the hydrology, city defense, soil and rations, verifying their words. All of the officials acknowledged his orders. Ling Yushu continued, no matter which prefecture we go to, if the hydrology or city defense needs adjustments, if the officials are taking over the land by force, or there are insufficient ration, all of these must be reported as they really are. The government minister of the Ministry of Works said, Your Highness, the world is huge and there are so many prefectures. I'm afraid that it will take us 2-3 years to inspect everything. Ling Yushu smiled. That's why I found a quick ship. It should be arriving soon. This ship is the fastest ship in our empire, and it's called Cloud Chasing Ship. It's said to have superlative craftsmanship, and you guys can take a look at its pill furnaces when we board the ship. They are very wonderful. Furthermore, it's still an iron shell ship. Many of the officials from the Ministry of Works had weird expressions as they coughed one after another. Some of them even looked at Qin Mu. Qin Mu also had a weird expression. The ship that the Crown Prince was describing seemed to be Fan Yunxiao's cloud-chasing pirate ship. Back then, Qin Mu had constructed 5 of such treasure ships, and 3 of the huge ships belonged to Heavenly Devil Cult. Regarding the 2 smaller ships, one belonged to Qin Mu while the other one was given to Fan Yunxiao. The ones that constructed the treasure ships were most of the officials from the Ministry of Works that were present here. Maybe the emperor of the next dynasty might just be a heavenly king, or guardian of our heavenly saint cult, Qin Mu thought to himself leisurely. Crown Prince Yushu is really fated with our heavenly saint cult. Heavenly Works Hall Master said secretly to Qin Mu, Cult Master, Incense Master Fan found me a few days ago, asking to change to a bigger ship, which left me bewildered. But now it seems that Incense Master Fan had been doing business with the Crown Prince. Qin Mu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Ling Yushu waited for a moment and a flying ship with wooden grains slowly flew over. The ship gradually descended and stopped in front of the mountain gate of Imperial College. Fan Yunxiao and the rest of the bandits were dressed prim and proper, as they stood on the bow of the ship respectfully. Your Highness, Cult Master Sacred Teacher. Ling Yushu immediately turned around to look at Qin Mu. Cult Master Qin, this ship is the property of your heavenly saint cult. How expensive, how black-hearted. Qin Mu consoled him, Your Highness might not know that they were bandits in the past and so are a little ruthless and lacking in conscience. Ling Yushu was startled. When everyone boarded the ship, an imperial scholar came running over at this moment and boarded the ship while saying, I'm late. It was a charming young man. Ling Yushu immediately hurried forward and asked in a low voice, Sister, why are you here? That charming young man was none other than Ling Yushu dressed as a male. She smiled and said, You didn't allow me to come, but I asked permission from father and he gave me permission to come. The one that herds cows. She threw Ling Yushu to one side and ran to Qin Mu's side. Her eyes curved up. Do you recognize me? Qin Mu hesitated for a moment. Fat. Sister Yushu. Ling Yushu's expression changed from anger into delight, and she punched him in the chest with a smile. If you dare to say it, I'll kick you off the ship. Ling Yushu saw her punching Qin Mu in the chest, and was aware that even though the punch seemed heavy, it was actually very light. He couldn't help grunting. This sister of his was starting to listen less and less to him. Sai Yinxiang came to Qin Mu's side and looked at Ling Yushu. She gave her a smile and didn't say anything, lowering her head to play with the dragon Chiline. Ling Yushu looked at her back, and her gaze flickered. She said in a low voice, The one that herds cows, let me go change my outfit. Ling Yushu immediately hurried over and said, Sister, male outfit is good. The male outfit is very good, you look especially good in it. Really? Ling Yushu nodded heavily. The flying ship rose into the sky and drove 300 miles to Auspicious Prefecture. This place was located down the river, 2,000 miles east of the East Sea. Ministry of Works had once constructed a huge bridge that crossed the river, stretching across the 20 miles of mud river. Hundreds of people looked down from the ship and saw that the center portion of the huge bridge was missing. There were numerous parts of the bridge floor and bridge pier missing, which should be due to the severe winter from the snow disaster freezing the river surface. This would have caused an ice mountain to form on the river and slid down, crashing into the huge bridge. With the torrential river water, the current was very swift, so fixing the bridge wouldn't be easy. The treasure ship descended in Auspicious Prefecture City, and the magistrate, immediately came forward to welcome Ling Yushu. Ling Yushu said, Magistrate, dispatch your divine arts practitioners to follow the Assistant Minister of Ministry of Works to fix the bridge. The magistrate immediately mobilized the divine arts practitioners in Auspicious Prefecture. Several hundred of them followed Heavenly Works Hall Master to the river surface. Qin Mu and the rest also came over. Just as they were thinking about how they were going to repair the bridge over such a rapid current, they saw Heavenly Works Hall Master give a shout to the divine arts practitioners behind him. His magic power poured out and the water of Mud River instantly rose upward, forming an arc in mid-air. The river continued flowing 5 to 6 miles in the air before landing back into the river. In the area of 5 to 6 miles, there was no river water nor any damp patches on the riverbed. The water in the mud had been drained out by the hundreds of divine arts practitioners. Everyone smelt the stones to connect the bridge. Heavenly Works Hall Master gave an order and numerous divine arts practitioners, with vermilion bird spirit body came forth. Great furnaces were propped up on the riverbed and stones were thrown into the great furnace, while fire birds flew around as the divine arts practitioners executed their divine arts to smelt the stone in the furnaces into lava. Then, another group of officials from Ministry of Works came forth to control the shape of the lava with their magic power, cooling the lava down into stone pillars. After a moment, stone pillars were erected upright from the riverbed. Other officials from Ministry of Works came flying from a mountain at the side, transporting stones that were already sliced, laying them down orderly. 2 hours later, the huge bridge was reconnected. Qin Mu's heart trembled, and he exclaimed to himself, "This is a miracle, a superlative craftsmanship." This video will end here.